On a windswept island in the Mediterranean, far from the palaces of Paris, a lonely boy with thick Corsican accent studied military textbooks by candlelight, while his classmates mocked his rough manners and provincial roots. He wasn't born to rule, he was born to fight for every inch of recognition. That boy was Napoleon Bonaparte, and within 2 decades, this son of minor nobility would rise from obscurity to become Emperor of the French, conquer much of Europe, and leave a legacy so vast it still shapes law, warfare, and governance today. His story is not one of divine right or inherited power, but of raw intellect, relentless ambition, and the revolutionary belief that talent could triumph over birth. Born on August 15, 1769, in Ajaccio, Corsica, just months after France annexed the island from Genoa, Napoleon entered a world of tension and transition. His family belonged to the local gentry, but lacked wealth or influence in mainland France. His father, Carlo Bonaparte, secured scholarships for his sons through political maneuvering, sending young Napoleon to military school in mainland France at age 9. There, he faced constant ridicule for his accent, olive skin, and modest clothes. Isolated and homesick, he buried himself in books, devouring works by Rousseau, Voltaire, and Plutarch, dreaming of glory like Alexander the Great. He graduated early from the École Militaire in Paris and became an artillery officer at 16, the youngest in his class. When the French Revolution erupted in 1789, he returned to Corsica, torn between loyalty to his homeland and fascination with revolutionary ideals. But as chaos spread, he chose France. In 1793, during the siege of Toulon, he displayed extraordinary tactical brilliance, directing artillery fire to drive out British forces. Promoted to brigadier general at just 24, he caught the attention of the revolutionary government. His true ascent began in 1796. Appointed commander of the Army of Italy, a ragged, underfed force considered expendable, he transformed it into a disciplined, motivated machine through sheer force of will. In a lightning campaign across northern Italy, he defeated larger Austrian armies using speed, deception, and bold maneuvers. He didn't just win battles, he reshaped warfare itself, proving that mobility and morale could overcome numbers and fortifications. More importantly, he paid his troops with loot from conquered territories, earning fierce loyalty. Fame turned him into a national hero. But Napoleon wanted more than admiration, he sought control. In 1799, as France teetered under political instability and economic collapse, he executed a bloodless coup, overthrowing the Directory and establishing himself as first consul. By 1804, he crowned himself Emperor of the French in a ceremony at Notre Dame, famously taking the crown from Pope Pius VII and placing it on his own head, a symbolic act declaring that his authority came not from God or tradition, but from his own achievements. What followed was a decade of astonishing transformation. Domestically, he stabilized France after years of revolutionary turmoil. He established the Napoleonic Code, a unified legal system that abolished feudal privileges, guaranteed property rights, and enshrined equality before the law, though it curtailed women's rights. He reformed education, created the Bank of France, and rebuilt infrastructure. For the first time since the Revolution, ordinary citizens could trust courts, contracts, and careers based on merit. Abroad, his ambition knew few bounds. He defeated coalitions of European powers, Austria, Prussia, Russia, Britain, in a series of wars that redrew national borders across the continent. He installed relatives as kings in Spain, Holland, and Naples, spreading French administrative models and revolutionary ideals. Wherever his armies marched, they dismantled aristocratic monopolies, introduced secular governance, and inspired nationalist movements, often unintentionally sowing the seeds of their own resistance. Yet his genius contained fatal flaws. His invasion of Russia in 1812, with an army of over 600,000 men, became a catastrophic miscalculation. Russian forces employed scorched earth tactics, retreating deep into the interior while winter approached. Napoleon captured Moscow, only to find it abandoned and burning. With no supplies and temperatures plunging, his grande arme disintegrated on the retreat. Fewer than 100,000 soldiers returned. The myth of invincibility shattered. Coalition forces seized the moment. In 1814, Paris fell. Napoleon abdicated and was exiled to the island of Elba, a small Mediterranean territory, where he ruled as sovereign, still restless, still plotting. In a stunning move, he escaped in 1815, landed in southern France, and marched north, gathering loyal troops along the way. The 100 Days had begun. He reclaimed power without firing a shot, forcing King Louis XVIII to flee. But Europe would not tolerate his return. At the Battle of Waterloo in June 1815, his forces faced a combined army of British and Prussian troops under Wellington and Blücher. After a day of brutal fighting, the French lines broke. This time, there would be no second chance. The British exiled him to Saint Helena, a remote island in the South Atlantic, where he spent his final years dictating memoirs, reflecting on his legacy, and slowly succumbing to illness. He died on May 5, 1821, at age 51. Though his empire crumbled, his influence endured. The Napoleonic Code became the foundation for civil law in dozens of countries, from Belgium to Louisiana. His emphasis on meritocracy inspired generations of reformers. Military academies worldwide still study his campaigns. Even his enemies adopted his innovations: conscription, staff systems, and mobile artillery. He was neither saint nor monster, but a complex architect of modernity. He championed reason yet crowned himself emperor. He liberated serfs yet reinstated slavery in French colonies. He spread revolutionary ideals yet ruled as autocrat. This contradiction is precisely why he fascinates us. He embodied the turbulent spirit of his age, ambitious, rational, ruthless, and human. Today, his name echoes in history books, street names, and even pastries. But his true monument lies in the systems he built, legal, educational, administrative, that quietly shaped daily life across continents. Napoleon Bonaparte did not just conquer nations, he helped forge the modern world. And though he dreamed of eternal glory, his greatest victory was making the future think differently about power, justice, and possibility.